Welcome to Nostalgic Necro, and today in the arena we are playing a very creative Abzan Ketramose build. I'll tell you the story behind today's video. About 2 weeks ago, I played an Orzhov Ketramose build that was very cool, but also very traditional in the sense that it tried to get Ketramose online in the same way that I've always tried to get Ketramose online, and that is playing cards like, for example, Seam Rip, that, exile a permanent your opponent controls, playing cards like Strategic Betrayal that exile the graveyard, or playing a sweeper like Deadly Cover-Up that allows you to collect evidence and therefore exile stuff from your graveyard and also exile your opponent's stuff. But in that video, Valkyrie Ruin commented and we got into a whole long discussion about how to get Ketramose online. He's got lots and lots of creative ideas on how to use Ketramose in very unique and different ways. And this is one deck list that he shared with me. Told me that he spent over 200 games fine-tuning it and making it as strong as he possibly can with this idea in mind. And what is that idea? Well, that idea is to use the adventure creatures and cards in order to get Ketramose online. Let's just quickly go over Ketramose very quickly for anyone who needs a refresher. It's a very powerful card. It's one colorless, white and black, menace, lifelink, indestructible, 4/4, what's not to love. It also has this very powerful ability to be a card draw engine, because whenever one or more cards are put into exile from graveyards or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So that's insane, right? But of course we all know Ketramose has a downside. Ketramose can't block until there are 7 or more cards in exile, and then the whole puzzle, the whole tension with Ketramose, how do you get those cards in exile very quickly so that you can actually start getting the benefit and turning Ketramose into an attacking threat? And so the idea that the Valkyrie Ruin had was to use adventure cards. So the way that adventure cards work is you can play the adventure side, which is an instant or sorcery, and then it gets put into exile, and when it's in exile it counts towards Ketramose, total tally. And then of course you also have the other side, the permanent side. Now this deck I find to be very interesting because it's kind of got 2 different ways to play. If you need to get Ketramose online, sure, go ahead and do the whole adventure stuff. But if you just need to play regularly because you need to build a board state, then you don't have to do that. Then you can actually just play the permanent side. So it's kind of interesting. You got to look at the game state and figure out what the right strategy is. Should you go for the Ketramose idea, or should you just go towards building up your own board state? So let's go through the adventure cards that we're playing. Well, the first one is Mosswood Dreadknight. Allows you to draw cards on the adventure side. Permanent side is a 3/2 trample. The Kellen Daring Traveler, the adventure side lets you create map tokens, and the other side allows you to attack with a creature that can then find you another creature for mana value 3 or less. So a pretty cool card there. The Gumdrop Poisoner allows you to create a food token on the adventure side, and on the other side it acts as a pseudo removal. It's a life linker, but it also gives a creature -X/-X if you gained life this turn. And then we also have the Decadent Dragon. This is probably the most important card for this deck because it exiles and gives you 3 things, because the Decadent Dragon goes into exile when you cast the adventure side, but also you get 2 cards from your opponent's library, so it's 3 total. And just a quick note, this card can be played at instant speed, so you can theoretically use it to ambush your opponent to get Ketramose online if they attack, and then sort of block without them expecting Ketramose to be online on their turn. And the other thing I just want to mention is the Decadent Dragon cannot really be cast easily from this deck because we don't actually play red, but in theory you can do it because we do have the 4 starting towns. So not the easiest card to cast for the permanent side, but it is possible. Day of Judgment is a useful sweeper. We also have Virtue of Persistence, very good removal, gains you a bit of life, and in the late game can be very, very powerful to get creatures out of the graveyard. And then this is a card I've never seen before, Stormcelt Vanguard. But I guess this is here because, first of all, it is a powerful creature on the permanent side, and on the adventure side it gives you some way of dealing with artifacts or enchantments, so pretty relevant there. And yeah, for the mana base, nothing too spectacular. However, we are playing Midgar City of Mako, which is a card that I've never played before, and it allows you to, on the adventure side, sacrifice an artifact or creature to draw 2 cards. So of course, again, we've got the whole adventure thing going there, and we've got pretty good ways to create artifacts. You get the map tokens with the Kellen, and when Restless Cottage attacks you also get a food token, and we get food tokens also with the Gumdrop Poisoner. So that's not the hardest thing for us to get those artifacts to sacrifice and get the card advantage with the Midgar City of Mako. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. And as always, I may be the Nostalgic Necro, but I'm putting my nostalgia aside because I want to find out Valkyrie Ruin spent over 200 games fine-tuning this Ketramose adventure build. I want to find out how it does. Let's find out in the arena today. Okay, let's try out this very interesting build by Valkyrie Ruin. I've played a couple of games in ranked and unranked. I've had some mixed results, to be honest. I think that this deck is going to have pretty good matchups against aggro, because we do have removal and life gain and stuff like that. You can see us having some pretty tricky matchups though against other types of decks. Go for you. I guess we should have gone for the Restless Cottage there. Whoops, because we're probably just hitting the Gumdrop Poisoner. Regi's Insight. Is this Kona? Kona's going to be a problem. One of the issues with this deck is it doesn't really have instant speed into action, so we're kind of sitting ducks. Okay. Get that going. So, we either take cards from the opponent or we get down at 3-2. What's better here? Apply pressure on them? Let's have a look at there. They got very powerful stuff. Maybe we can steal something to kill Kona in response. I think that's what we need right now. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll let them find what they want first. I don't think it's really going to matter. So they're going to find Kona here, and unfortunately we don't really have a way of dealing... They don't go for Kona. What is this? I'm sure I've seen this card before. When Vanilla enters... Vanilla. What is this card called? Vanilla? Hold on. Okay, let's just do this in the meantime. Also, target you. Mill 2 cards. Mill 2 cards, then return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. At the beginning of your first main phase, if you both own and control a vanilla, and a creature named Fang, Fearless Sire, you may pay 5. If you do, exile them and meld them into... Oh boy, that's a lot of text for me to just take in on the fly here. Sorry, opponent. I wasn't actually thinking. I was reading all your stuff. Okay. Exile this artifact. We can exile a skeleton, spirit, or zombie. Oh boy. I guess... I don't know. Okay, I don't really know. I'm just doing this and playing out a 2-3 that can attack and maybe find us a creature. I don't know. Man, this is hard for me because I'm like exiling all these cards. Like, I know this card sort of, but I've never really tried to play with it. Okay, Kona comes down, and again, we have no instant speed. It's pretty rough in that way. Hopefully it's a creature that we can... it's Omniscience. Double Omniscience. Triple Omniscience? Oh my word. Well, opponent's been very nice. They didn't get upset when we sat down and read all their cards, so we'll be very forgiving here as well. Ooh boy. Enters... Yeah. Fourth Omniscience. Another Sarima. Okay, we'll scoop here. Oh boy. So yeah, again, let's be even-handed here. The idea was to try and build something interesting with Ketramose. You know, Valkyrie Ruin has tried to do that. It's not, I don't think, an easy build. And I think one of the challenges with this deck that we can definitely say exists is that I don't think there's many great adventure cards, as far as I know, that operate as removal that you can use at instant speed, and that is a problem against something like Kona. So let's see how we do in a different kind of matchup. Okay, in the last game we took a beating to Kona. They got down 4 Omniscience against us. That's very rough. We go first. I mean, again, pretty good hand against aggro, right? Obviously we need to hit lands and stuff like that, but a priori this should do okay against aggro. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Candy Trail. What is up here? Who's playing Candy Trail? I don't think that's a sign of aggro, is it? It's more of a sign of control, I think. Okay. So, we either seam rip this Candy Trail. I think I'd rather try find lands. Oh! I meant to play the adventure side there. I was not focused. Whoops. What is this? Okay, we find a land anyways. It's pretty good. Well, let's attack in here. See if opponent wants to react in any way. A rides end that. Okay. I think we will... we could go for the Seam Rip on this. I don't think it's worth it. Let's go for the Dragon play and see if we can find some goodies off their library. Could have some good stuff here. Don't really know what opponent's up to. Okay, what you got for me, opponent? What good stuff have you got for me? Okay, it seems to be like it's control versus control. We don't hit land, unfortunately. What does this do? Tap an untapped artifact you control. Target creature gets +X +O until end of turn. Tap X untapped artifacts. Create a 2/2 robot artifact. Oh, we did hit land, sorry. Why did I think we didn't hit land there? That's good. I guess we'll do this just to put pressure on them. Just to put that pressure on them. I don't want to Seam Rip this Candy Trail unless they're tapped out. Otherwise, what's the point really? We can find another way of getting red. We can play this Decadent Dragon. Okay. Opponent decides to pop this Candy Trail. Okay, I thought maybe they didn't want to do that. I thought their strategy was to use it for this Secluded Starforge, which is a card that I've never seen before. Opponent hits the Overlord of the Mistmoors. Okay. Very problematic, I guess. What do we do about that? I don't think I want to lose my only creature. I mean, do we just... I think we'll keep the Seam Rip. I don't... Ugh. No, I think we have to use the Seam Rip on this thing. Because otherwise, how do we kill this thing? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. That's just what I did. We're gonna have to find an answer for this Overlord of the Mistmoors. Tap X untapped artifacts you control. Let's split up. Okay, we got no creature. My current hope is to try and reanimate their own Overlord of the Mistmoors. But we're gonna have to kill it and get it into the graveyard somehow. Okay, that's fine. And we're gonna need one more land to hit the Virtue. Okay, we don't hit land for Virtue. Let's try find it. This time we will do it the right way. Okay. You may sacrifice an artifact or creature. If you do, draw 2 cards. That is pretty good. I'm just gonna do this. I mean, the only issue with that is that we then don't hit the land for Virtue. But we're drawing 2 cards here. I'm gonna try this. Okay, we hit another land, so that gamble paid off there. So I think what we're trying to do now is... we are going to place another Authority of Consoles. They got 2 cards in hand. The Overlord impends. Okay, play the starting town here. I guess we go for the Strategic Betrayal. Do they have a way of creating a creature? They can create a 2/2 for 5 mana. Get a 2/2 and they've got the 5 mana to pay for it. So in that case, we just do this. They have Judgment and try to get this Virtue of Persistence down next turn. Play you in the meantime. Or we can look at their card. Let's take more cards from them. I think that's better. Very interesting game here. Okay, they get a 2-2. Let's see what comes down. We need that one turn to get this Virtue of Persistence off. I have to hope that the opponent doesn't have a way of dealing with artifacts. I mean enchantments, I should say. Candy Trail. Matchmaker certainly put us up against an interesting opponent here. Very interesting build by them. I've never seen anything quite like this. I feel like it's an Ugin deck maybe? Maybe they're hunting for Ugin? Okay, well we'll hit them again with this dragon. We do have double starting time. We can actually hardcast the dragon. Okay, opponent sacks the Candy Trail. We hit Overlord of the Mistmoors. That is pretty good. Take their Fountain Ports. So we could just slam this Virtue. I think I prefer just to slam this though. They have the Get Lost, they'll use it on this maybe. And we'll gain a lot of life here, but that's okay. Is a strategic betrayal ever going to get any better? I mean, they've got the ability to make these robots. Do we just use it here? Do we just get down another creature? We're on 20 life. Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with this. They're getting lots of life off of the Authority, but it's okay. Now we got a big board. They got 3 cards in hand. Let's hope they don't have... Okay, they rides in that. So that tells me they could have a sweep actually. They could have a sweeper. And then they wanted to get rid of the... yeah, of the Mosswood because it does come back. I'm reasonably okay with this. I'm pretty happy just playing this dragon. I just want to... So, my reason for doing that instead of slamming Virtue is I feel like if we can get Virtue down, we got a good chance of winning. And I just worry that they have the Get Lost. I just want to keep testing them for that. I want to apply pressure on them to use that Get Lost if they do have it. It's kind of my thinking right now. Maybe it's the wrong thinking, but that is how I'm thinking. We got this Day of Judgment. They go for another Day of Judgment. Okay. Can we create a fish? Nah, we'll just create a treasure. Because that way they don't get life off the Authority. Let's just create another one of these dragons. I'm happy to just put it out there. Okay. Let's see if they've got another way of dealing with it. Got 1 card in hand. Create a treasure. Oh boy. Well, I think we're gonna go for it now. Oh, it creates a treasure when it attacks. That's pretty cool. Lots of treasure here. I didn't even know that. Okay. I think we have to go for it now. Look, the opponent might have been holding it this whole time because they've known about this for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if this get losted right away. But let's go for it. And I think we can do this. Oh, we can't play the sorcery. Oh, alright. We already played the... Wait. Oh, that's why. Because we already played the... Oh, I'm getting confused here. Okay, we already played the sorcery parts, I think. Next turn, maybe we can start drawing. Okay. 2-2. Opponent wants to build a robot army. We're gonna not let them. That's okay. We'll take this too. Okay, let's start drawing. Sacrifice a token. Draw a card here. Very interesting game for sure. Oh, I don't actually want to use Strategic Betrayal because then I lose. Then I'm not able to get stuff with Virtue. That'll suck. Okay, we'll just take this Overlord of the Mistmoors. Opponent gains life, gains life. Gains a lot of life from all our 2/2s. Oh boy. 37 life here for the opponent. Play this. Create a treasure. This is a pretty cool combo. Maybe this deck should have fountain ports because this creates treasures and this lets you draw cards off the treasures. It's pretty cool. So I don't think I'm that keen to use this. Okay, obviously I'm scared that the opponent will kill their own creature, but let's just go for this. They could kill their own creature to stop us from getting the Virtue. Okay, we just get down another Virtue. I think that's very reasonable. Okay, so now we just wait. Opponent will create a 2/2. Okay, opponent will attack with a 2/2, sure. Just trying to figure out if there's a way where opponent can just pop off here with this thing. Tap X, untapped artifacts you control. Rest in peace, exile the graveyard. Oof. Don't love that. At least now we can use these strategic betrayals without worrying about it too much. It is pretty sad. And there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, so let's hope the opponent doesn't have a sweeper here. If they do, that kind of sucks. Yeah, they got the sweeper. I had a feeling. That's pretty bad. Okay. Is that the end of us? Not really. We still have a way here. Let's try to draw cards though. Another Virtue. The ability is obviously pretty useless now, unfortunately. And we don't draw anything great here. We'll do this to try and pressure them. Also create a food token that we can sacrifice to draw more cards. Kinda like that. Might as well play this land. Oh, I've already played land for turn. Okay. Let's see if this Restless Cottage can get there. And the fact that we can draw cards off their fountain port, by the way. I think I'm happy to sacrifice this. We might need some life here. Plenty of lands. I mean, got plenty of land. I don't think that's our problem. Draw land. Very, very sad. Attack with this Restless Cottage that we're hoping will get us very, very far in this game. Okay. They have Judgment. Nothing we can do really, is there? We could try draw a card now. Maybe we hit something playable. Sure, why not? We hit the Seam Rip. That's pretty good. What do we go for? Well, we'll hold on to this. We don't have to use it right now. Okay, opponent gets their 2/2. Got another Authority of Consoles. Wow. Opponent does not like going up against aggro decks, surely. Okay. Again, nothing to do here. Gumdrop Poisoner. We'll just take out this thing with the Poisoner. Gain life this way. Take it out with the Poisoner. Get a creature down. Might as well create the food as well, right? We got so much mana. I think we got more than enough mana to do everything we want here. I haven't actually counted it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. Take this out. They don't have a way of buffing it, right? Yeah, you gain all your life from authority. Pump you up. Get another food. We'll wait here. I don't think there's anything we need to do right now. Oh boy, what a game this has been. This has been a very long game. A very interesting game against, you know, two very off-meta builds here, which is pretty cool. I like it when the matchmaker, you know, when you're playing something a bit off-meta, like, you don't want to come up against, like, you know, simulacrum artifacts or whatever. Okay. I still feel like this opponent's going to slam Ugin at any moment in time. Sacrifice this food to draw. Where's Ketramose? We do play 4 Ketramose in this deck, don't we? Isn't that the whole point of the deck? There's Ketramose. Hello. Okay, opponents seems like they're eyeing this Restless Cottage. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after it right now. I don't know why, but I've got this suspicion that they've got removal for it right now. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, I thought so. Get lost. Okay, it's okay. We did play the other one. Oof, I tell you what, this rest in peace is a problem. I just realized because... Hold on. Okay, they decide to create a robot to stop the Poisoner. So any creature that dies goes into exile. Is that a problem for this deck? Not really, is it? I don't think that's a problem. Okay, I think we're going for Ketramose. It is a problem. It's a problem because then if they kill any of our stuff, we don't get it back with the Virtue. I just realized that. Yeah, okay. I should have done this earlier. Whoops. We'll seam rip this. I should have done that earlier. Another Ketramose is good-ish. We will Virtue this just to keep their board clean. And end the turn. Okay, do they have an exile effect? Do they have an exile? This is indestructible. They have another rest in peace, unfortunately. They're out of cards though, finally. I think our situation is going to be good here. Okay, we're going to try and pump as much damage as we can. Sacrifice, draw. You. We are going to deck ourselves before the opponent. Okay, let's try get this Ketramose. No. Let's put that rather on you because this is indestructible anyways. So my thinking is they can chump block this. It does have menace though. But this will get around the... If they can create multiple 2/2s, then at least that way they can't double block our cottage. I think I'm happy with that idea. Yeah, we'll keep that. It's a creature. And it destroys an enchantment. We can use that to get rid of this rest in peace that is problematic. Okay, let's get down. Starting town. I don't think it really matters too much. Okay, let's see what opponent can do here. against very, very powerful board state that we have built up here. And they are top decking. They do have the ability to create 2/2s, but it's not an easy situation for them. Okay. Anything else we want to do here? No. Oh boy, well, Fountain Ports would certainly be a good addition to this deck, I'm realizing. I mean, we just took theirs, but it's been very, very useful. Okay, opponent can attack. And what trick have they got up their sleeve? Nothing, so we will just draw. Sacrifice you. I think opponent's a bit bored here. I don't know what they want from me. Like, what am I supposed to do? They're the one who's playing this control deck, and they're welcome to scoop if they want to, if they don't think they can win the game, but I think our position's pretty good. So, you know. Hello, opponent. Okay. I have a feeling that opponent might have decided to leave the building here, and they're just kind of trolling us now. Let's see. Okay, I don't think I'm going to engage with this opponent anymore. I don't really think that they're doing things in good faith now. I wouldn't be surprised if we got the rope. So, yeah, I don't know. I get confused with that. Like, why? Okay, the game is boring to you. You're playing a very slow control deck with Authority of Consoles, Day of Judgment, and it seems like you're bored with the gameplay. So, why are you playing this deck then? Because surely you know that if you come up against some sort of mirror, which is kind of what we are, not exactly a mirror, but you know, we're kind of a mirror. You know, of course we're going to be in like a sort of stalemate situation. So, I don't know. I don't know how people think. I give up. I give up. To each their own. And I do think our friend has left the building. Opponent could be throwing tons of emojis at us. I don't know. I muted them. I have no idea what they're up to. They could be like emoji, emoji, emoji. But at some point I just get to a point where I'm like, I'm just not really interested in, you know, what someone else is doing. Like if they don't want to get on with the game, I'm not that interested. And yeah, okay, cool. We get the win. A bit of a disappointing thing from the opponent there to rope us in the end. But I actually thought that was a very cool thing, and I actually like it when the matchmaker, when you're playing something off meta, puts you against other off meta decks, and that way like you can get a kind of like real battle going on, you know, because a lot of the times, if we're being honest, these sort of off meta builds are going to struggle against, you know, the high win rate like mono red aggro, simulacrum kind of decks. Okay, in the last game we got a win against that mono white control deck. I had a look, I think that game is something like 20 minutes. That's really insane. The game before that was like 3 minutes, so that's just shows you how crazy that game was. And opponent goes first here. I mean, I think it's a good hand. We have green, we have the starting town. Yeah, I think it's okay. We can keep this. Blue and green. What are we up against here? No clue, no clue, no clue. Let's find out. What are you up to? Is this the Simic or a Boroid? Might be. Duress. Don't like that. I do not like my opponent seeing what I'm up to. Sort of one of the advantages of playing an off-meta deck is that opponent doesn't know what you're up to. They took our Strategic Betrayal as well, which is kind of sad. So this is some sort of... They wanted to protect their graveyard, clearly. We'll just run out this Dreadknight, apply pressure, try to kill whatever they play next turn. Not really sure what opponent's up to. Is this Roots? Got the Seam Rip for Roots. Who else plays the Malt Tender? I don't really know. I really don't know. Let's Virtue this. I don't want to use the Seam Rip because I think I might need it for Roots. Okay, we'll hit the starting town now. Sacrifice a creature or artifact. I don't really want to sacrifice this Mosswood Dreadknight, but I guess if we do, we can play it for the adventure hop. That's pretty good, right? Prankster. Okay, what is opponent up to here? Please tell me. We play the Prankster. What is this? You may cast non-creature spells as though they had flash. Okay. Got one card in exile here. They went for the Bitter Triumph. Why? Why do they think that's the most... Oh, maybe that's the only card that was an instant, I guess? Oh yeah, okay, that's probably the reason. Okay, this is some sort of birds deck. Man, I don't know exactly what opponent's up to here. Let's just go for more pressure. If they kill it, we can always, you know, play it then. Pretty happy to just let this enter tapped. If they kill it, like right now we're applying a lot of pressure on them. Now if they kill it, then we can try play it for the adventure hop. I think that's fine. But this Virtue, if we can ever get to 7 mana. And Ketramose is on 1. So we can get Ketramose actually and Seam Rip something and start getting card advantage. That's pretty cool. Maybe we'll do that. Yeah, maybe we'll do that next turn. I would like to find a better target for Seam Rip than this Prankster though. I feel like that's the wrong target. Let's see what happens this turn. Maybe I'll regret it. I don't know what this opponent's up to be honest. They're clearly doing graveyard stuff. They didn't like the Strategic Betrayal. And this is also a bit of Triumph, a card that typically graveyard decks play. Deadly Cover Up. Oof, boy. Well, it will get Ketramose online quicker. That's pretty cool. That is one advantage here. Okay, yeah, I think that puts Ketramose online. Thanks, opponent. I mean, I would have liked to keep my Dreadknights, but an online Ketramose is a good Ketramose. And we'll play this tapped, I think. Hold up the Seam Rip for something. Now let's see if opponents has some strategy to deal with this Ketramose. They knew about it. They knew about it. It was a visible card in hand, so they might have a Strategic Betrayal or something like that. Analyze the Pollen. Creature or land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. They can get any creature they want. Wonder what they'll get. What is this deck? I don't know what this deck is. They go for Prankster. Oh boy, at least the matchmaker's been putting us against some interesting stuff here. I like that. Opponent scoops. Oh man, I was really excited to just start drawing cards with Ketramose and, you know, doing the whole thing. Opponent scoop just a little bit too early there for me to sort of whet my appetite. Okay, long may it continue. Come on, a matchmaker. Put us against some off-meta stuff. We're kind of playing this off-meta build. Let's hope that the matchmaker is kind and does the same to us. Okay, so we have no green for the Mosswood Dreadknight, but we can draw cards with it. I think this is keepable. I think it's keepable. Lanoir Elves. Okay, now we hit that. That's pretty good. We'll go for that first, I guess. See what opponent's up to here. They're playing green. If it's the Landfall deck, we need to time our Day of Judgment right. And doesn't play a land, I mean a creature. That's pretty good for us. And we have 4 mana for the Day of Judgment play. I think I'm still happy to play this out here. Just give them something to think about. And if they have a way of dealing with the, you know, if we Day of Judgment, we can maybe play it next turn. Okay, that's actually a bit of a problem. Tifa can kill you in 1 turn. Oh boy. Tifa can kill you in 1 turn. What do we do about that? So I think we... Oh boy. I know this is a bit weird. I'm going to just strategic betrayal them. I just want to slow them down as much as I can. Maybe if they have an extra mana, they've got a way of playing that thing that lets them play extra cards and Tifa kills us. They go for Tifa. I did not expect that. I wonder why they went for Tifa there. That is so weird. Oh boy, can someone explain to me, if someone here knows this deck well, why would you... Oh, maybe because they don't have land, so they wanted to... Yeah, maybe they just didn't have that third land, so they felt like if they lost the Nanoa Elves, they'd be in trouble. I think, again, when under no real pressure, they don't have haste. So, I'm happy to attack here. One takes the damage. We can hit the Decadent Dragon next turn. Take stuff from their hand. I mean, from their library. Double Dev Judgment's very strong against them. Okay, Bristly Bill. Okay. Let's hit this dragon, see what we find. We hit Overprotect. That's pretty cool. Start with an attack here. I mean, I may be playing this way too risky, but I don't think we need to sweep right now. There's nothing here has trample. We can hit Overprotect and give our stuff indestructible. So let them attack in. I don't think we need to use the sweeper. Okay, now we need to use the sweeper because this Mosswood Hydra is a huge problem. And it's all good, but I don't think we needed to use it prior to that. Yeah, okay, so that's cool, you know. So I think we just hit the dragon again here, right? Hit the Mosswood Hydra. The opponent will see the sweeper coming here, but we'll just attack all in, see what they do. Very interesting that they decide not to block with a Hydra. Okay? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's down to 7. Okay, we go for the Dev Judgment now. Oh, shite. They've got a way of... I was thinking, they have 1 mana... Oof, okay. If they had Overprotect, they would have been in huge trouble. I kind of forgot about that, to be absolutely honest. Okay. Damn. I should have played... Oh, damn. Okay, I should have played this. I want to keep applying pressure on them. They're on 7 life. I should have played the... It is what it is, but I should have played the land first. Okay. Definitely a mistake there. Ketramose. Play it now. Oh, I made another... Oh, man. Ah, boy. Okay, I'm making some mistakes here for sure. I could have played the Hydra and then played the land. Damn. Not too familiar with the whole landfall thing. Okay, Ketramose is not online. It's got 6. Sorry, opponent. I'm just thinking here. So we can overprotect... Okay, now Ketramose is online. Oh boy, I hope I'm not being too greedy here. But I'm going to go for the Ketramose play. And hope that they can't kill me this turn. No attack. Snakeskin Veil. Let's see if I was too greedy there. I didn't want to go for the Day of Judgment play. I felt like I can survive this turn. Like, I know they can make Tifa very big, but I felt like with a life linker we'd be okay. Oh no. Damn. Oh damn. Okay. Oh, what happened there? Oh, what happened there? What? Did opponent just pass priority by mistake? What happened there? Hold on. When this creature enters, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, but they're on the field tapped and shuffled. I think, I'm not sure what happened there. I think opponent might have misclicked, but I don't deserve that win. I had the Day of Judgment. I was being a little bit too greedy. I actually kind of forgot that this thing can pop off so hard, and I wasn't thinking that. I think the correct play there was just to Day of Judgment. Okay, I think in the last game I got a win I didn't deserve. I'm pretty sure the opponent just forgot to attack, basically. And I think that's what happened. I'm not exactly sure. Okay, we'll keep this hand. We got the Seam Rips for the early game. Okay, we'll get down this. That way we can play our Seam Rips without paying life. Double Starting Town. Opponent plays Elves. We just Seam Rip these Elves. I never know whether to take out these Elves. I just feel like let's find out a little bit more about what the opponent's up to here before we commit to that. Destroy an artifact or enchantment. Blue. Ah, it's the Temur Battlecrier. Oof, now I wish that I had taken out those Elves. I could have slowed them down 1 turn here. Okay. Problematic situation that we find ourselves in for sure. Play the land. Oof, what do we do here? Nothing here is an enchantment, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay, I guess we'll just do this. Try to slow them down a little bit here. See if the opponent wants to trade. I doubt it. Go for this Kellen. I think opponents could just pop off here. This card is very problematic if you can't deal with it. Okay, Esper Origins. That is an enchantment, so we can kill it with this thing. It doesn't attack. Unfortunately, we don't draw land. Well, I think we're definitely killing this right now. Or trying to. Opponent's got some stick. Okay, Seam Rip's kind of useless. Happy to just keep attacking with this. Apply some pressure on them. Okay, not drawing that land is pretty bad. I wish I had taken out that Elves 1 turn sooner. We would have been a little bit faster here. What is this? Spells you cast from your graveyard or exile cost 2 less. Okay, land's pretty good here. Definitely Seam Rip this thing. And hit the dragon. Opponent's very reluctant to attack with this Battlecry. They're clearly very protective over it. Yeah, do nothing here. Hopefully hit something good with this Decadent Dragon. Opponent's got 5 cards. 5 lands. They go for the Abrade. Interesting, okay. Now they attack with a Battlecrier. Okay, cool, cool, cool. They could have been attacking this whole time. I had no trick up my sleeve, but maybe they were scared of something like a Braid or whatever. Well, maybe we can hit with one of their Braids here and actually kill this thing. I'd love to get rid of this creature. It's a huge problem for us. Okay, Day of Judgment. Okay, this is the problem with the dragon. Like, you draw these cards, you actually don't know what they do. 5 mana. Whenever another creature you control enters, put X 1/1 counters on it where X is its power. That seems very, very relevant here. Do we need this land? Yeah, we do. We do, because we want to play this for 5. We can also play this dragon. It's flying trample. But this helps us once another creature comes down. Whenever another creature you control enters. So let's get this down first. So that hopefully we can make this Decadent Dragon huge. Okay, opponent Floodmars it. Oh, and they get it back. Oh, damn it. We do have the Day of Judgment though. That's something if they tap out. They go for the plot. They go for the elves. Okay. Virtue of Persistence is very important here. I think we have to go for this play. We have to get out this. We have to kill this Battlecrier. We could also just Day of Judgment, but we got them very close to lethal. Yeah, I think we just kill this right now while we can. Attack with you. And it's down to 4 here. And we can hit them with another Decadent Dragon. Let's see what's up here. This is a very important turn. Does opponent have like some way of getting down a haste creature? We could just be dead. If they have some trick I'm not aware of with this thing, then that's pretty bad for us. Oh, they got haste? Ooh, boy. Okay, I think we're just dead then, right? And because of that, they come in with all that power. Damn, that Floodmar really took me out. Nice, 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 nice. Oh, boy. Oh, wow, it goes crazy. Okay. Disappointing. I think that that is actually just me not knowing too much what this deck runs. Had I known that they maybe play Floodmar or thought about that, I could have not played that right into their hands. So yeah, I think that's definitely a game where we could have won, and just a little bit of lack of knowledge about, you know, what the opponent's actually doing is something that cost me there, and also a little bit of inexperience. I wasn't really thinking that if I play their creature and they have a bounce spell, they get it back to their hand. Obviously, I know that that interaction exists, but I haven't got enough experience playing against this deck to kind of know that that's probably the line I have to be careful of. Okay, well, look, this deck is pretty cool, and I am enjoying it, and I do feel like the matchmaker is being pretty kind to us and putting us against, you know, matchups that are, you know, decks that are also kind of off meta. So let's do one more here. Let's do one more. So we do this and do this. Get a map token, pay 1 life here. Dream Thief. Again, not a card you see every day, right? Opens another Dream Thief. Pay 2 life. We'll go for this Kellen. I don't think I've ever actually managed to attack with this creature. It usually just dies immediately. There's blue. Yeah, for some reason this card just never sticks around. People are very, very wary of it. Okay, so we're stuck on land. It's not great. We could virtue this. Oh, it's such a waste of a virtue. Oh boy. This deck has 24 land, but I do feel like I get stuck on land with it a lot, which is weird. I think it's just coincidence. Okay, I was scared that they were going to ninjutsu Kaito in there. Okay, another Dream Thief. They really like this card. Well, if we can get Day of Judgment ever, we can kill them all. Obviously, they're going to be able to get stuff off the graveyard. What is this opponent up to? Okay, Gumdrop Poisoner. Do your thing. Can I please have land? I cannot have land. We will try and find land. Where's land? Why do I struggle so much with land in this deck? Okay, sure. Flatpit's Drowner. I wonder if opponent realized that I didn't play the... Why did they play it in response there? I'm not really sure. Okay, we desperately need... Ooh, Enduring Curiosity, that is very rough for us. Oof. Well, if we don't draw land here, we're absolutely dead, I think. I don't see any way that we are getting around that situation. We don't draw land. Oof, boy. I think I'm going for this. I think we're dead here, but I think if I can maybe find land with the map token, maybe next turn I can do some good things. Okay, we had land. I've got a good feeling they're going to kill this and just kill us. They've also reloaded the entire hand. So yeah, Tragic Trajectory, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're going to Ninjutsu Kaito in as well. Okay, they were Ninjutsu Kaito deck. I had a feeling that they were maybe doing something like that. Okay, well... Oof, okay. Opponent kind of blitzed us there. This deck has plenty of land, 24. I don't think it needs more. I think maybe just getting a little bit unlucky with lands in the games that I've played. Maybe you push it up to 25. I don't know. I think this deck is pretty cool. I mean, the adventure idea to get Ketramose online is very, very creative. So credit to Valkyrie Ruin for thinking of that idea and really fine-tuning the deck to the best that it can be. Obviously, I think we have to keep some perspective here. When you have a challenge like, okay, I'm going to optimize only for Ketramose, that really bottlenecks you into various builds that are not necessarily going to be the strongest. So I think the creative idea is very good. For my personal play today, is this deck like super competitive and can it win you lots and lots of games? I think it's a fun deck to play. I don't think it's the most competitive build, but it's certainly very creative. So shout out to Valkyrie Ruin for trying to optimize it and, you know, really investing time in it over 200 games. That takes a lot of effort and dedication. So, you know, big up to him for giving that attempt and, you know, giving the channel something to play around with, something creative, something that we haven't seen before. Welcome back. I put my nostalgia aside because I wanted to test out Valkyrie Ruin's very creative Ketramose Abzan adventure build, and there were a couple of reasons why I wanted to showcase this deck today, which I'll get into in a second. But before that, let me just sort of deal with the competitiveness of this build. So I always want to be blunt about this kind of stuff. If someone came to me and said, can I actually get from like platinum all the way to mythic with this deck? At least based on my experience today, I'm not sure that that's possible. I did struggle to get like a consistent run of wins with that game. Obviously, I'm not very adept at navigating this deck. Maybe someone will watch the gameplay and point out a bunch of misplays that I did. If I did, great, let me know and I'll improve from there and maybe take the deck for another spin. But based on my personal experience today, I'm not sure that you can do that. But I think the deck is super creative, and there were two big things I wanted to highlight. The one is, you know, one of the cards in this deck is Virtue of Persistence, and I think that that is a virtue that Valkyrie Ruin has in spades. They spent so much time and so much energy over 200 games fine-tuning this deck, trying to get this Ketramose idea to work, and I think that that kind of effort and persistence deserves to be sort of showcased, celebrated, rewarded, because it's very, very tough to do. And look, we all know the truth. Building around Ketramose is very, very tough. If you go onto Untapped, you'll see there's no version of Ketramose that is absolutely smashing the meta. So to expect anyone to sort of build a completely off-meta build that is also like so competitive and stuff like that is a little bit unrealistic, but at least it's a creative build and tries to do something new. So that was the one reason. The other reason is that I think the idea itself is very interesting and very configurable. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So in the first game, we discovered something very quickly. This deck is going to struggle against Kona because we have no instant speed into action, and that could be a problem for us. Now, let's say you were interested in building a deck like this and you found that to be a problem for your build. You could just lean into other adventure cards in order to try and solve that problem, because you can just pick any adventure cards you want essentially. There's no real restriction on that, and that's what I mean by the configurability of this deck. So for example, I just did a quick search and I found this Threadbind Clique. I'm not saying that's the right card to put in here, but it would get around the Kona problem because you can pay 3 mana, 2 and a white, and destroy target tapped creature. So at least you can try and get around the Kona problem that way. Now, I'm not saying again that that's the right card to put into this deck, but what I like is that you can configure it in any different way you want, because the whole point is that so long as you stack your deck with lots of adventure cards, it gives you the opportunity to get Ketramose online. So I think that's pretty cool, and maybe someone will come up with different ideas, different variations, different colors completely in order to maybe do it their way or try to get around certain problems that they are facing in the meta. And then lastly, I just wanted to quickly mention Fountain Port. Man, when we got this card off of the opponent, that was really, really good. And this deck does have the ability to create a lot of tokens. You create it with the Kellen, you create it with the Gumdrop Poisoner. You also can create it if you are able to attack with a Decadent Dragon, which of course is a little bit hard to cast, but nevertheless. And you also create it with a Restless Cottage. And of course, the Fountain Ports also lets us create treasure tokens. So that's another way maybe that we can cast the Decadent Dragon. Now, obviously, a big disadvantage of the Fountain Port is that, it only creates colorless mana. So in a deck like this, maybe it would be a little bit hard to fit that in, but I did find it to be very useful when we did draw, so I wanted just to draw attention to that. But yeah, that will be the gameplay for today though, and I do hope you enjoyed it, and I want to thank Valkyrie Ruin for sharing this very cool list and optimizing it and giving the channel something new and creative to play around with. But I hope you did enjoy the gameplay, and if you did, stay tuned and consider subscribing, because there's going to be more nostalgic Necro coming soon.